It's the most highly anticipated matchup out in the 806 since 2008. In today's video, we'll preview number 8 BYU at number 9 Texas Tech. What do the Red Raiders have to do to ensure that they are in prime position and hold the keys to their own destiny to make a Big 12 title appearance? We'll discuss that, as well as why physicality and the turnover margin may be the key difference in this one, as well as look at the odds as the Red Raiders are heavy favorites, and I'll give my score prediction. Let's get to it. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Red and Black Report. Appreciate y'all tuning in to today's game preview video. I don't know if I have been more excited about a game preview video for Texas Tech football in the time that we have had this here very YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, let me know your score prediction for number 8 BYU at number 9 Texas Tech. And again, the most highly anticipated game out in Lubbock, Texas on the gridiron since, well, Michael Crabtree, Mike Leach, and Graham Harrell were roaming the sidelines at Jones AT&T. Let me know your score prediction down in the comments below. And before we get into this very game preview, hell of a job, Texas Tech students. We see you. We see Raiderville. We see you. This is what it's all about. I will not lie to you. I am immensely jealous that y'all get to do this, and I couldn't be happier for y'all. Thank you. Seriously, I hope I'm speaking for a large majority of Red Raider Nation. Just thank you for showing that passion and showing what it truly means to be a Red Raider, and just camping out and having that experience truly means the most to me in terms of an alumni, getting to see y'all enjoy this experience and also knowing that Texas Tech football is relevant at a very, very high level. So shout out to y'all for going out there and really showing what it means to be a part of Red Raider Nation and, well, being a Red Raider in general. All right, let's jump into this because this game is a juggernaut. Two of the best teams, not only in the Big 12, but in the entire college football landscape. A ton of it is at stake here. Truth be told, a ton. Let's go ahead and look at it. On the offensive side of the football, the Red Raiders are a better offense in terms of scoring by about a full touchdown. In fact, over a touchdown, 7.3 points per game. BYU has the third best offense in terms of scoring in the Big 12. The Red Raiders have the best defense in the Big 12, while BYU has the third best defense. This is going to be an absolute slugfest in the trenches between the two most physical teams in the Big 12. It's going to be absolute cinema out in the Jones. We look at the offense in terms of totals. Texas Tech, nearly 500 yards of total offense. You see BYU there at 5th. The Red Raiders lead the conference with 492.3 yards per game. BYU at 433.4. Now, Texas Tech, they have the best, well, defense in terms of limiting yards per game. 271.3. This is an historically great Texas Tech offense, not just from the standards of Texas Tech in the program, but also the Big 12. You look at BYU, they are also 5th in terms of yards allowed per game, 318. What's going to give in this matchup? There could be quite a bit. We look at the offensive side of this, and this is going to be one of the keys to the game. Which team is closer to the yards that they get or allow in the rushing game? Okay, you look at it, BYU, 216.6 rushing yards per game on average. The Red Raiders are the best run defense in the entire country, not the Big 12, the entire country, allowing teams only 74.6 yards per game, 2.4 yards per carry. They have only allowed 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. Now, the Red Raiders, well, they're not too far behind BYU in terms of the ranking within the Big 12 rushing yards per game wise at 197.9. Maybe this is the difference here, but BYU's got a pretty good run defense as well, ranking 4th in the Big 12, allowing opponents to rush for less than 130 yards per game. This could be the difference. If BYU is closer to their rushing average than what Texas Tech allows typically on the ground, that could be a good sign for the Cougars to win this football game. But I'll tell you this right now. I understand that they may have, LJ back there and they've got Bear Brockmeyer. We'll talk about them here in a minute. But this Texas Tech defense is the best rushing defense in the country. This is the premier matchup in all of college football, not only from a game standpoint, but from with the game within the game. This is the one in all of college football this weekend. That BYU rushing attack against the Texas Tech rush defense, it is going to be electric. Now, we move on to the passing side. Texas Tech ranks higher than BYU in the Big 12 in terms of, passing yards per game. Offensively, 294.4 for the Red Raiders. BYU at 12th in the conference at 216.8. BYU does limit opponents somewhat through the air. 188.9, ranking 4th in the conference. Texas Tech not too far behind them at 196.8. I think this is where Texas Tech can exploit this BYU defense. They're going to be physical up front, but if you give Baron Morton time, I don't think this BYU secondary has faced a Texas Tech like offense in terms of the passing attack through the air. Another game within the game to monitor on that front. Now, we will move on and talk about BYU from a player perspective here in just a second. But before we do, be sure to head on over to homefieldapparel.com, the presenting sponsor of today's video, and use the promo code RBR15 to save 15% off your new favorite Texas Tech vintage t-shirt, sweatshirt, hat, whatever it is. They've got you covered over on homefieldapparel.com. It's the perfect time to get you situated because Texas Tech men's basketball tipped off last night, right? That's always fun. We've got football looking like they could have a college football playoff run. Fingers crossed, right? Why not be prepared for that and get some gifts along the way for Christmas and save 15% while doing it? All you have to do is use the promo code RBR15 to get your new favorite Texas Tech vintage t-shirt, sweater, whatever it is, much more. Head on over to homefieldapparel.com. All right, let's talk about BYU and the players you need to know in this one. The aforementioned Bear Brockmeyer, one of the best freshman quarterbacks in the country. We didn't know exactly what BYU would look like after they lost their quarterback due to, off the field stuff and code of conduct within the university there at BYU. Bear Brockmeyer, as a true freshman, has been a lot better than I thought he would be. Hand up for accountability on that front. He has been absolutely phenomenal for the BYU Cougars. I mean, as you can see on your screen, he's been great. He's got almost 1,700 passing yards. It's limited, right? But 11 touchdown passes, and he's limiting the interceptions. He's limiting the mistakes. And with this BYU offense, that's really what you want to do with the skill players he has around him. The most notable skill player, and we'll see if he plays in this game. At the time of this recording, it sounds like he's going to, but this may change, and it would be a big detriment to the BYU offense if he doesn't play. But we'll see on Saturday. It's LJ Martin, one of the better running backs in the country, let alone the Big 12. 132 carries on the year, nearly 800 yards on 6 yards per carry with 5 touchdowns. He's one of the better running backs in the country, as I mentioned, in the focal point of this BYU rushing attack that, as we mentioned, is one of the better ones in the Big 12, and they rely on him quite a bit to alleviate a lot of that pressure from the freshman quarterback, Bear Brockmeyer. Now, who is he throwing to in the passing game? Chase Roberts is the most notable guy, as well as Parker Kingston. Those guys kind of move all over the place. You'll see them in the slot a little bit as well. Those are the two go-to players in this offense, as well as Carson Ryan at the tight end position. You see on your screen right there, there's only 3 guys in this BYU offense from a receiving standpoint that have over 100 yards on the year. It's very condensed. They like to target 4 players or use 4 players offensively. It's Chase Roberts, Parker Kingston, Carson Ryan, and then the aforementioned LJ Martin in the backfield who catches a pass here and there. But those are the 3 guys to monitor. Chase Roberts is a guy that is one of the better wide receivers in the Big 12. They line him up in the slot sometimes. They line him up outside. Either way, he is going to be a guy that really creates issues for the Red Raiders secondary and really one of the bigger tests that the Red Raiders have had so far this season when it comes to the defensive side in the secondary. You see some of the standout players here. I really want to talk about Jack Kelly. And the reason being is this. He's a linebacker, but he leads them in sacks with 5, okay? This is a guy that's not the prototypical linebacker. He plays sort of similar to Jacob Rodriguez, maybe a Ben Roberts type, but he can get after the quarterback, man. And the reason they can do so is this BYU front 7 will be the biggest front 7 that this Texas Tech offensive line has played so far this year. They have some bona fide grown-ass men on this defensive line, much like Texas Tech does on their defensive line. It's going to be a physical matchup, and whoever wins in the trenches on both sides of the football, whether that's the Texas Tech offensive line, BYU defensive line, and vice versa, whoever wins those matchups, I truly believe will win this football game. But Jack Kelly was the guy I wanted to talk about because you don't see a linebacker every day leading their team in sacks by a pretty wide margin with 5, but he's a guy to monitor and really look after and see how they maybe chip block him a little bit. Maybe they bring in an extra running back like a Cam Dickey to be an extra lineman or in pass pro, whatever it may be, to ensure that Baron Morton stays upright. He's the guy to monitor when it comes to getting after the quarterback on the BYU side of things. All right. Before we get into the odds for this matchup, again, let me know your score prediction down on the pinned comment below or just in the comments in general. And while you're down there, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. I promise I'm about to give my score prediction here in just a minute, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down below. And if, again, you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It's 100% free. I can't make it any more free, and all it does here on the channel is help us. It only helps us. So if you love Texas Tech, if you love having 100% free content daily here on the channel, it's the best way to get it. All right, let's go ahead and, well, fix the screen real quick and look at the odds for this one. BYU, Texas Tech, 8 versus 9, college game day out in the 806. The Red Raiders are favored by double digits. Yes, you see that correctly. A 52.5 point over under with the Red Raiders favored by 10 points. I was actually truthfully shocked by this. I thought that this would be more in the neighborhood of maybe 4.5, 5, but it is at 10. And as we know, Vegas is pretty damn good at this shit when it comes to, well, pinpointing a line. And the Red Raiders, I mean, they're getting respect from Vegas, and rightfully so. This is a team, when it's all said and done, will go down as one of the best in program history. So I'm not really surprised that they're favored in this matchup, maybe by the total a little bit. And we'll see if LJ Martin impacts that line at all. I wouldn't suspect it'd be by maybe a point at most if he is officially ruled into play, and maybe a point at most in terms of going towards Texas Tech if he is out. But 52.5 is the total over under. The Red Raiders are favored by 10. I told y'all what I think the difference in this game is going to be, okay? And we'll talk about a little bit more on the keys to the game on the next video that we post here on the channel. But I truly believe the team that wins the trenches, because these teams are two physical nightmares for everyone else in the Big 12. You saw how Texas Tech dominated a Utah team out in Salt Lake City early on this year. You saw how in the Kansas State game, the Red Raiders went out and maybe early on were rusty a little bit, but damn it, that defense dominated from start to finish, right? I think that's where Texas Tech is going to have to win. And this is going to be a game where there's going to have to be somebody that steps up on the outside. But I'm calling it right now. When I say outside, I'm talking about both sides of the football, both in the secondary for Texas Tech and in the wide receiver room. I have a feeling this is a Reggie Virgil game for the Red Raiders at the wide receiver spot. Caleb Payday Douglas, and damn it, don't forget the Payday, had a big game up in Manhattan, right? But I think Reggie Virgil is going to have a game for the Red Raiders on the outside. And the guy that I think is really going to have a big game for Texas Tech, because I'm not sure where the matchup is for BYU on this front, is Terrence Carter Jr. It's no coincidence that when Terrence Carter Jr. is on the field, Texas Tech is a better run team in general, okay? They like to run outside with Terrence Carter Jr. on the field. He opens things up. He is a really good blocker. That is a part of his game that has improved drastically. They get him in motion as a lead blocker, and Cam Dickey, Jacoby Williams, just follow him to whatever side of the football field he's roaming to, okay? But he's going to have a big game in this. I think the Red Raiders are going to perform really well offensively, because this BYU team has not played a team similar to Texas Tech offensively. And same can be said about the BYU offense. I think the most important part of this football game in its entirety is if you can make Bear Brockmeyer, the freshman quarterback in the raucous environment, easily the most raucous environment he has played a football game in his life, will be the Jones on Saturday morning leading into the afternoon. If you can force him to be more of a passer, much like you did Avery Johnson, you're going to win this football game, Texas Tech. You're going to. You have to have rush lane integrity. You have to ensure that he can't scoop past in the ABC gap when plays aren't developing downfield and the secondary is doing a good job. You can't prolong BYU drives. I think the Red Raiders will win this football game. It's a 52.5-point over-under. I will be in attendance. I'm hoping a lot of you guys will be as well. And for my score prediction, I think Texas Tech wins this one 34-23. They cover the 10 points. I think the Red Raiders score 34 points in this one and only allow 23. And the Red Raiders are setting themselves up to go play in Arlington with 2 games remaining in the Big 12 slate. So again, my score prediction, 34-23. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. It's the biggest game out in the 806 in damn near 2 decades. I'm excited as hell to be out there. Shout out to the students again for camping out. I'm as jealous as hell and just happy for you guys that you guys get to experience this. Truly, this is what being a college student is all about. I absolutely love it. This is great for Texas Tech. This is great for the city of Lubbock. It's great to have College Game Day out there, and it's great for this program to get the notoriety that it deserves for this season. And maybe more importantly, damn it, it's just great for Red Raider Nation. This is one of the most passionate fan bases in all of college athletics, and it is great that it's going to be on full display for the national audience to see with Kirk Herbstreit calling the game by Reese Davis, right? Like this is going to be unbelievable, the scene out in Lubbock, Texas. And it sounds like Patrick Mahomes will be the guest picker on College Game Day there within the stadium. It's going to be unbelievable, man. It's going to be unbelievable weekend out in the 806. All right, I'm RC Maxfield reminding you one more time, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button for 100% free Texas Tech football and men's basketball content all year long right here on the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube and the Red and Black Report. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, stay safe and Reckham Tech.